This is a log cabin that we have, my wife and I, that we bought foreclosed sight unseen years ago that we've been fixing up slowly but surely with like tools and such, and it's really, really cool. I like it a lot. This is a 1990 Ford F-350 that has a dually rear end with a flat dump bed that I fixed. I'll show you another time, with a 7.3 IDI diesel engine in it. It's actually extremely clapped out and I have to fix it all the time, but I bought it because I thought I could like go and winch logs onto it and bring in, and that's been actually way more difficult than I thought. But it was a good deal, and I'm gonna keep working on it. This is a Cat 247 that has 3,000 hours on it and runs really good with no hydraulic leaks, and I bought it because I wanted to like move dirt and also logs, because it is easier to move logs with this than a tractor. However, it's also lost bogie wheels, a lot of them, because the undercarriage wasn't in great shape. I'm talking too much about it. I've already replaced one track and replaced a different shaft and welded on, and I'm not going to show you all that right now, but maybe a little bit. And then I need to fix more things, and also there was algae in the diesel tank, which made it really hard to run sometimes when it got low. It really wasn't that great of a deal, but it was okay. And this is a 2003 Ford F-350, 250, I apologize. And if you've watched any of my videos in the past, 430 subscriber-ish, then you'll see that I actually tried to do a swap on this, and I am, but it's currently not 100% done. It's a 5.4 liter V8 originally, that's the word I'm looking for, that I put a 7.3 power stroke into. But it was really a lot of work, and I didn't really expect it to be that much work, but it was a lot of work, and I had to fix a lot of things. I always have a screwdriver. This is a future garden area that I cut into the side of the mountain here. I have 3 garden boxes so far right now, but they're not gardens yet. They're just garden boxes that don't have soil. We need to fix that. They are beefy sons of guns. These are 4x6 oak timbers that should last a really long time. This is a better view of everything that I like to look at from up here, because it's a garden bed that I hopefully will be really pretty, and the mountain behind the house. I like this view. It's really pretty. At one point we had a few cute chickens and I really liked it, and that's why I built like a little chicken coop, but it was little, and all of a sudden they all died from a raccoon and bears, and there's a lot of things that like to eat chickens. So we ended up getting 20 chickens, but I haven't built a bigger coop or a run for them, so I'm gonna do that one day. This is temporary. That's why it's kind of ugly, but it works well enough that it like stays longer than it should. These red lines that are sticking out of the ground right here, insulated, going to the garage and then to the house. I had a wood boiler that I was going to build here out of high temperature refractory into a steel tank to have a really large thermal battery, 500 gallons. However, the expansion and contraction of the refractory versus the steel that I had it built into made it crack, which then heated up the steel too much because the heat was going through the refractory, and it almost melted down the steel. I'm talking too much. I need to really get this down tighter. I built these stairs years ago. It goes up to an apartment above our garage, which I finished, and it was a really fun project. I'd show you, but we actually have guests right now, and they probably have their underwear out, which is inappropriate. I also shot this buck on top of the mountain, which is really cool. I'm not going to tell you where I shot it, don't ask, but I was burying it under here to let the bacteria eat all the head, but it's still got eyelashes, so I need to bury it again. This may be a silly one, but this is grass that I've been trying to grow for 5 years now. We have all clay, and so I always have to bring in more and more soil. But we also live on a hill, so the soil goes bye-bye and it goes down the hill. It's called gravity and water. Irrigation? No. Erosion. That's the word I was looking for. So maybe I'll grow better grass and have a really pretty yard for you if you want to watch that happen. I also need to stain this house. You can see here that I power washed this side of the house so far. I need to stain it, but I need to power wash this side of the house. So it's a project you have to do on a log cabin every few years, and I've waited 7 years. Actually, it was a lot of work to stain this the first time because it had a polyurethane finish, which was peeling, so I had to grind everything by hand. I grinded this whole house by hand. Just one more word on that. It's probably one of the most satisfying things is actually seeing stain going into well-prepared timbers like this. So you really don't want to miss that when that happens. It's going to be really pretty, and I'll try to capture it really well. This is a hot tub that's not on right now. I haven't had it on for a year because I've told myself I'm not going to turn it on until I have a certain level of income from my business, and it's a motivating factor, but it also is really depressing that it's sitting here, and it's because they're expensive to run, and I fix it a lot. I bought it off of Craigslist years ago. I don't even use Craigslist anymore, for $50, and it's really been fun. It's a good big one, but it breaks all the time, so that's what hot tubs are. They break a lot. More on the house. We're actually switching from all green trim work to black, so I've started sanding down and preparing for a transition to black for all the windows and doors, which is going to be a lot of work. I think it'll look good though. This is a table that I built. It came from a 100-year-old barn that was tore down. It was supposed to be all white oak, but once I started milling the beams, it ended up being only one piece of white oak, one red oak, and the rest was hickory. I thought that was fairly interesting. I always like learning from based on experience, and I built this kitchen island. It's the red oak tabletop that came from our front yard. The tree came down when we first moved in, and I built it when it was still too green, so it's bowed a lot. So I'm going to fix that, but I learned through experience. Another thing I got to point out that I'm fixing eventually is the roof. It's leaking, which is really bad. The front porch here is actually leaking from the top where the dormers are, where there's not really good flashing. The word is flashing. And then it's actually wicking up from the gutter system because it has a bad drip edge. It's just not done well. So I have to fix that, hence the screwdriver. Not to just talk about vehicles, half of this, but this is a 2016 Ford Transit. The reason that this is important to me is first of all, I like vehicles, but also this is a bit of an experiment. I have a lot of kids. Sometimes a minivan is just not big enough, and we like to go on weekend adventures and camping, and so this is a bit of a unicorn. It's a squatty potty one, meaning it's not really a phrase, but it's really, really short. It's the shortest one they make. It's only a few inches longer than a regular minivan, but it's the medium roof, so you can stand up straight in it. It makes for a really good adventure vehicle, but it's a little more difficult for daily driving, but it fits everyone really nice. I don't know, maybe we'll build it out more and you'd be interested in that. That's enough about the house. That's kind of part one of this. There's a whole lot of other things that I'm trying to accomplish that you'd be interested in maybe. And down here, there used to be all trees, but now that there isn't trees, I put a sawmill right here. This isn't my sawmill, actually, if you were curious. This is a friend of mine's sawmill, but I got it fixed for him, and so I'm using it right now. But I really want to run it as much as I possibly can, but it's theirs, and I don't know how long I'm going to have it for. So let's just try to mill a lot of trees in the meantime. When you have a sawmill, there's a bunch of different businesses that you can get into. One of them is just custom milling. This is an example of one that I'm doing. It's a wood floor project. Those are the logs from the property from a fellow's house. So he's going to have custom white oak floors from the trees on his own property that I'm milling and drying for him. Let's talk about drying. But before we talk about drying, I want to talk about these logs. These are red oak veneer logs. This is kind of my passion project that I'm finally getting to, is that I'm going to cut these all in quarter sawn material and 8-quarter material, and I think I'm going to have a lot of really, really nice quarter sawn tables that maybe people would want to buy. Maybe you want to watch me do that, and it'll happen really, really soon. Maybe you want to buy one, because I really want people to buy them. Another part of the wood business is drying the lumber. I'm all really new to this, but this came up locally that was for sale, and it was a really, really good deal. This is an iDry standard. It's a vacuum kiln, so it's a really efficient and really fast. And I don't really have anything developed, so I had to build this little structure around it, but it works really well. Side note as well, I don't have enough lumber to keep this running at all times yet. However, if you're in the northern Shenandoah Valley area or general surrounding area and you need your lumber dried fast, I'd love to talk to you, because I feel like that I could help you, because that thing's really good. Another part of owning a small business is just when customers don't pick up things. This is a bunch of fencing board, which has really low profit margin, and they don't pick it up and pay for it, then you're just stuck with it. But that's okay, I guess. Once you get a sawmill and a kiln, you think, oh, what are other things I could do? And someone says, oh, you have that? You want this tree? And you're like, oh yeah, of course I want the tree. And it's a 5-foot wide, maybe one of the possibly biggest red oak trees in Virginia. And you have no ability to handle this whatsoever. But you have to get creative, because these are huge logs, and I gave the person my word that I'd take care of them. So here they are. I'm going to figure out how to move them and slab them again into 2.5-inch thick slabs by 5 foot wide by 13.5 foot long. And hopefully they'll be really, really, really cool. Maybe someone will want them that watches this. I also have other parts of my property I'd like to develop for maybe small cabins or tiny homes or something of that nature. We live in a really pretty area, and I'm building the skill set needed to maybe build those at a lower cost because of the sawmill and the kiln. So we'll see. It seems like a pretty good story. I really would follow it if I wasn't doing it, but I'm doing it, so maybe you should follow it. And because there's a lot of mountain springs on this mountain, I'd really like to develop this into like a little pond, or make it more of a aesthetically pleasing stream. Maybe stop the erosion, bring in some rock. So I think that would be a cool project too. Maybe we'll do that in the future. Also, there's great lessons to be learned, because this is the red truck that I took the 7.3 Power Stroke out of and put it in the silver truck. However, it's still here in the woods, where I feel bad about it because I need to scrap it out, but I told myself I'm not going to scrap it out until I have the other truck 100% done, because I keep pulling little parts off of it. But it's suffering and pain, and sometimes people like watching suffering and pain because you can see character development. There's been a lot of character development in lately, and I really hope that it could benefit you as well, so maybe that's a part you could follow me for that too. And I can't forget about my Kubota L4400. This is an amazing tractor. I got it with only 80 hours on it from a really good friend, and I'm really happy to have it. I'm really thankful. I actually made a PowerPoint from my wife, convincing her to buy it. One of the stipulations was that I would make a YouTube channel, because she's always really supportive and says, you're using interesting things, you should document it. And I said, okay, maybe I will. I told her I would start doing that, and that actually was years ago, and I feel really bad because I was being disingenuous and didn't do it because I feel bad. That's basically it. So this is part of the deal. I need to make a YouTube channel because I said I would, to get this tractor. And I really like this tractor. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. The mud flap on the mill truck actually just came off this week. I'm really disappointed. I always had a silhouette of my wife on here to make her feel like she was a part of this with me, and I need to get that back up there. And if you're curious about the name of the YouTube channel, The Old Oak, well, that's the Old Oak. It's just a huge tree on our property that I always like looking at. It's one of the first things I noticed when I came in the driveway years ago, and I thought, oh, I'd really love to have a property with a big tree like that, and now I do, and I like looking at that tree, and so it kind of motivates me in a weird way. Maybe you're like me and trees personify themselves to you.